Today, I'm going to see how fast I can paddle my iSUP with the assistance of a high-powered electric fin. I'm also going to see how well it works with my inflatable paddleboard and if this fin will actually help or hinder your time on the water. So, buckle up because this episode is going to be a fast one. So to get things started off, let's now do an official unboxing of this electric surf fin by Boost Surfing. Now before I open up this box right here, this video is sponsored by Boost Surfing, so just keep that in mind today as I do today's review and unboxing of this electric surf fin. With that being said, let's get this thing opened up and let's see what's inside. So I'm actually really excited to get this fin unboxed today because I've actually never seen one of these fins in person before. I've seen a lot of their stuff on social media and videos and things like that, but never in person. So I'm really excited to get this thing unboxed today and just see it in person here. Let's take the lid off this box right here. Pretty fancy packaging. And there we have it. Your Boost fin is here. Let's go. So looks on top right here we got, I'm assuming probably the start guide. Yeah, the start guide right here. Quick start guide. And I'm not sure what this is. Looks like maybe a cover for maybe the end of the propellers right here, but I'll set it aside for right now. So yeah, I'll take a look at this quick start guide here in just a second. I'm gonna get the rest of this out of the box here and take a look at this fin, 'cause this is what it's all about. Sweet deal. Wow, this thing feels very, very sturdy, but super sweet looking as well. It's actually not super heavy. I think on their website they say it's under 3 pounds. I think about 2.7 pounds to be exact. So for having the battery and everything inside of this electric fin right here, that's pretty good for in terms of weight. Yeah, super good. And what's nice too is it's all like one piece right here. You don't have separate parts you have to like screw together and put on here that I can tell as of right now, but yeah, just one solid piece right here, so super convenient to use. And we'll look here in a little bit as well in the video. Just installing your paddleboard should be a simple process as well. But first impressions right here, this thing feels super sturdy. It does not really feel like your typical plastic fin. This feels more like metal right here and this whole middle section of the fin. And this part down here does have a tiny bit of flex to it, which is cool to see because that's what typically your fins do. So yeah, overall, super interesting looking. I'm stoked to give this thing a try on the water, but man, that's super cool looking fin. I'm not sure there's anything else in the box right here. Let me take a look. All right, here's all of our power cables and stuff. This little box section out of here. All right, let's get this box out of the way. Yeah, really nice packaging as well. Feels like more like you're kind of getting like an Apple product. So that's super nice to see. We got our charging cable right here, looks like. Pretty straightforward. And it looks like you have some adapters for where you live in the world. Obviously I'm based here in the US, so I'm gonna be using this USA adapter. I don't remember the exact term for this thing, but it works for what I have here in the US, so I'm gonna be using this one. And if you're in the other parts of the world, it has a different outlet as well. Looks like you have this guy right here. I'm not entirely sure what this one's called, but if your wall adapter looks like this little guy right here, then you can use this one. But for me, it's not gonna work. A little tool right here. I'm sure I'll find out what that's for here in a little bit. And then we have our little remote right here that eventually is gonna be put on my wrist right here to use it while on the water. Now, as I said, I've never used one of these things in person before or even ever seen one, so I have literally no idea how this thing works. So I'm going to take a look now at the quick start guide and learn more about how to use this fin, get it set up. But I'm not going to bore with you guys with that, so I'm going to do that real quick here. Maybe shoot on a little time lapse for you guys to see me learning how to use this fin. And then, yeah, I'll see you guys out on the water. Well, surprise, surprise, it's another cloudy day here in Washington State, and summertime is quickly coming to an end. I've had a chance though to get this fin fully charged, It took it roughly an hour to get it fully charged up, so I think the battery is already around 50% charged. When this thing is completely dead though, this quick start guide says it takes roughly 2.5 hours to fully charge the battery up on this fin. So it kind of gives you an idea of how long the charge time is to fully charge the battery on this electric fin. I have had a chance now to kind of look over this quick start guide and get myself a little bit more familiar with how this fin works. So now I'm going to talk to you guys just how to set up this fin on your paddleboard as well as take on the water for the first time. So first things first, let's talk about the fin base right here on the bottom of this fin. Now most paddle boards will have a similar fin box type. There are also a lot of boards out there that use different types of fin boxes, especially with inflatable paddle boards. Now both boards I'm using today, both my inflatable SUP as well as my carbon fiber race board, both use a US based fin box. So I'll be using the same fin box right here, or the same base for both my paddle boards today. But if your paddleboard does use a different type of fin box base, Boost Surfing does offer a variety of adapters to install on their fin to make sure it has a good snug fit on your paddleboard and you can use it safely on the water. So with that being said, I'm now going to remove this fin base here on the bottom of this fin and install my paddleboard here so I can install the fin on top of that base. All you have to do to remove this fin base right here is simply remove these 2 screws on the side of it right here. So I'm simply going to use a tool that came with the fin, install right here, and I'm going to screw both these things right now. All right, I got the base off it right now, and I'm simply going to remove this washer right there. I'm going to install it in my paddleboard. Make sure I have it facing the right way. Don't want to face it backwards. Let's look at this little washer setting here into the board. Slide that back a little bit, and then I'm simply going to make sure this has a good snug fit. So I'm going to slide this forward here, get installed. And it's nice that they use the same type of screw head that will still work for the tool they gave you. So just kind of one tool does everything right here for you. Make sure you get a nice snug fit. If I do have a little bit of gap here after I put it on, they do have 2 holes towards the front of the fin base right here that you can choose to raise or lower how high this fin base is off your paddleboard. Now you do want to be as close as snug to possible in terms of the bottom base of your fin box right here. So I'm going to check this one right now, and if I have any kind of gap, I might see if I can lower that to make it a more snug fit. As of right now, it actually looks pretty close to snug, so I'm going to leave it right there. That works out fine. But if you put yours on your paddleboard, you do notice there's a big gap here at the base of the fin box and the fin. Simply move that pin to the lower setting and get a more snug fit to this fin to your paddleboard. All right, so once again, I'm gonna put these 2 screws back in to the fin right here and get it fully installed. All right, now that we got our fin securely installed on our paddleboard, it's now time to turn this fin on into what is called standby mode. So basically, to turn this fin into standby mode, you're going to use this tool right here, and you're going to hold it right behind the sensor right here till it beeps on. So we're good to go now. This basically just acts as your on switch to turn the fin on, and it'll stay in standby mode for now for 30 minutes. So you can go on the water, start your paddle session, and within 30 minutes, you can use the remote on your wrist to start it up and start using it on the water. So make sure you do this before you get on the water, because once you get on the water, it's definitely be way too hard to try to reach down below your paddleboard in the water to turn it on. So make sure you do this first, turn to standby mode, and you're good to go for 30 minutes. All right, now that we got all that said and done, it's now the time to do our little first test here of the fin and see how it works, and I'm stoked about this. So on here on our wrist strap for the remote, we have 2 sides to the button here. On one side is a short boost, and then the other side of this button does a long boost. So I'm gonna do the first test here, the short boost, and let's see what happens. Huh. All right, that's pretty cool. It sounds like a little jet engine. And just listening to it, it sounds like kind of like powers up and then phases and then goes back down again to turning all the way off. So super interesting. Now I'm gonna press the long boost and kind of see what it sounds like as well. All right, press the button again and turn it off. Huh, that's cool. That's super interesting. It like gradually builds up speed, maintains that speed, and then when you press the button to turn off, it gradually decreases the speed. I actually like that because rather than just like turn the button on and getting like an instant boost of power and then turning it off and like stopping abruptly, it's nice to know that kind of gradually builds up. But I definitely still gonna test this on the water and just see how powerful it is right off the bat to see if it kind of like catches me off balance or not. So last but not least, before we jump on the water and test this thing, because I'm dying to get out in the water and put this thing to test, the last thing I'm gonna do now is actually check this settings out on the app. So what you can do is download the Boost Surfing app here. I'll turn on my screen recording for you guys so you can see what I'm doing here. So I have the app downloaded right here. Basically what I'm gonna do is open it up, allow, agree. Little intro video here. I'm gonna just skip that for now. All right, got my device turned on. It's cool, I have a little setup instructions right here for you to set up the fin. All right, I'm doing a SUP board. All right, so you got some options here. It looks like you can have it gradually build up into the boost and hold that boost, or you can just have one long, strong boost right off the bat, or you can have a strong boost right off the bat and have it gradually slow off. You can choose how long with the duration for, 1 second, 5 seconds, or up to 7 seconds. And then right above that, you can choose how powerful, oh, okay, so how powerful you want that step to be. Super cool. So tons of customization in here. Oh, sorry, I was reading that wrong. Look at this. It says step 1 is right here. This is step 2, and this is step 3. So basically, you could fully customize how powerful you want this fin to start right off at. Then in the middle of it, you can choose how powerful you want it to be in the middle. And then at the end of it, you can choose how powerful you want the ending to be. That's awesome to know just how customizable this is. So the long one, it looks like you can do a SUP assistance for 15 minutes, just getting lined up, or SUP trolling, or SUP wind. So SUP wind looks like it does up to 30 minutes on full charge, SUP trolling 40 minutes, SUP assistance up to 50 minutes, and 3 minutes doesn't really give you much details there in terms of how long the fin's gonna last. All right, so I'm done with that for now. I'm gonna put my phone away, get this board on the water. Let's test this bad boy out. All right, I'm finally all geared up, ready to hit the water and test this fin out. Dealing with pretty calm conditions out here on the lake. It's a great day for testing and seeing what the actual results are in terms of speed for this fin. So first things first, I'm gonna set this camera down, switch over to 360 camera. And the first test I wanna do is simply just standing here in a nice parallel stance, relax knees, and just simply see if there's enough power in this thing when I do a quick boost to throw me on my butt or not. And that's kind of the first thing I wanna find out if I'm honest. So first test I'm gonna do a quick 5-minute boost and see just how powerful it is when I just stand in a relaxed stance. All right, let's do this, and hopefully I don't get wet. All right, here we go. First test, just standing super still. Let's do a little boost. Whoa! Woo! All right, when it kicked into the second phase there, woo, that almost threw me on my butt. Oh, that's so funny. All right, I'm gonna do that one more time and just see if it does the same thing or not. All right, relax stance again. Quick boost. Whoa. Yeah, when it like kicks up to, I'm presuming that middle phase of 115% power, it definitely kicks in a little bit. You feel the power behind it. Oh, that's so funny. All right, so now I'm gonna paddle out here a little bit and just simply do the trolling mode. Now I had it set to the wind mode, which I believe is the most powerful setting on this thing. So I'm gonna switch over to the long press button and just see how fast we cruise at that speed. So I'm gonna get my tracking stuff started here. All right, so switching on to the distance mode. Oh, that was nice. Definitely more of a gradual kind of build up into it. Like, I'm standing relaxed here in just a parallel stance and feel totally fine staying just like this. I don't feel like I'm gonna fall backwards at all or forward at all. Pretty relaxed and chill, which I like. Because I didn't know if you would have to stand back more in a surf stance like this in order to have more bracing forward and backwards. But so far with just the current settings on this thing for the distance mode, parallel stance like this from the very beginning, gonna be peachy fine. Kind of cruising at about 6 miles an hour, which is pretty good. This is about the pace I kind of cruise out when I'm just doing a nice easy paddle. For me, it's like around 40 strokes per minute on the water. So it's kind of nice to be cruising at this speed right now with like doing zero work pretty much. I'm just kind of going for a ride, which is a strange feeling for me because as you know, you follow me here on this channel, I do a lot of training and a lot of exercises on the paddleboard. So it's weird to be out here just cruising, having something else do all the work for me. But first impressions is kind of fun. I actually kind of having a little fun time out here on the water, testing this thing out. I'm turning right now, just kind of doing a nice sweeping stroke out to the side of my paddleboard. I'm sure if I do my blade on this side of the board, I could probably just steer like a rudder even. Oh yeah, no problem whatsoever. Get my other camera set up here as well. And we are cruising out here. So I'm turning, there's a little bit of breeze now in the water. I'll probably say, I don't know, like around 3 knots of wind or so. But just enough to kind of give some resistance to this thing. So let's see how it does in this wind mode. Going directly into the breeze now. So right now, with no help from me, it's doing around 4.8 miles an hour, or 4.7, right around there. So it is a touch slower than just going in the calmer water over there, kind of with a side breeze. All right, let's see how it does when I give a little bit of paddle assistance in this mode. Kind of nice. Right now I'm cruising at around, let's see, 7 miles an hour. It's quite nice. It's a nice little assistance going upwind here because it doesn't require as much effort for me because when I'm resetting my paddle up for another paddle stroke here in the recovery phase, the electric fin kind of keeps my momentum going forward. So as I'm applying pressure, my paddle strokes here, going into the wind, that blade kind of helps me keep it going, or that fin keeps me keep going at a nice consistent speed. Which is really nice if you're someone who doesn't want to go out for a hard paddle session against the wind. Use this thing and it will definitely give you some assistance going into the wind, help save you a ton of energy. I'm gonna turn around here. Yeah, I think the best way I like turning so far is simply putting my paddle towards the nose of the board right here and acting it's kind of a rudder for the board. So yeah, so far first impressions, this is a fun little toy. It's kind of nice being out here and just going for a cruise on the water and doing some paddle strokes here and there, taking in the views. Just stop paddling for a bit, looking around and still making some progress going towards my destination. It's quite fun. All right, so now I'm gonna head back to shore. I'm gonna save some battery on this to test out on my race board. And let's see how this thing performs on my race board. So for the last bit here, I'm gonna turn this back off again. Let it cruise back down to stopping. And now I simply want to see what it feels like to paddle with this thing with it off. All right, so I definitely would say in terms of drag when it's powered off, I do feel a little bit of drag and I can definitely feel a little bit of the weight back there from that fin. It's not a ton, but since I do a ton of paddling, I really know the feeling of my boards. on the water. And I can definitely feel there's a little bit of a drag back there with that larger motor on this fin. So I'd say for some reason, if you're out there on the water going for a paddle session and it dies in you, the battery just kaputs for whatever reason, going paddling for too long, having too much fun with it, it's not that hard right now as I'm testing it out. Simply just paddle back to shore where you started with pretty much little effort and little ease. All right, getting back to shore now, and let's test this thing out on the race board. All right, here we go. Test number 2 on the carbon fiber race board. Now, the last board I was testing on was an inflatable board, obviously, but that board's dimensions were 12.6 long, so 12 feet 6 inches long, and had a width of 30 inches wide. This board I'm on now is a carbon fiber board, and it is 14 feet long and 22.5 inches wide. So much longer, more narrow, which equals more speed and better performance, but at the same time, less stability. So now we want to do the same test I did on the last board and see kind of what happens when I do this little short boost up first and kind of see if it throws me back or not, and let's just have fun with it. So let's do the short burst first. There it goes. Woof! Every time. Just like a little shock, it kind of gets me there. Oh, I don't know if you guys are laughing, but I'm laughing. Oh, it can make a little heart jump a little bit. All right. So now I'm gonna do some testing now to see what the cruising speeds with this thing are in that wind setting. And as well as I want to see what kind of results I get in terms of speed when I do my usual cruising paddle stroke cadency, around 40 strokes per minute. And then after that, I'm going to do just a quick 15-minute built-up max speed sprint to see just how fast I can paddle on this race board with this electric fin helping me out. Now, without the electric fin, my max speed currently is right around 14 kilometers an hour. And so that's the fastest I've ever been able to paddle on this paddle board. So I'm interested to see just whether this thing can help me beat that record or not. So to start things off, let's put it back into that cruising mode in the wind setting. Get it powered up here. And away we go. So just cruising right here. Not really any wind resistance as of right now. Doing about well, it's going up still. Give it a second. All right, 5.5 to 5.8 miles per hour right now. So definitely with a more narrow paddle board, I'm going a little bit faster in this cruising mode. Let's turn it kind of into the wind again, this direction. All right, yeah, it's building back up to right around 5.5, a little bit lower, 5.3 to 5.4 right now. So there's a tad bit slower once again, kind of going into the wind. All right, now I'm gonna do a little paddle assistance here. This is my usual stroke cadency that I do when I'm just kind of cruising or doing like a zone 2 paddle session, for me anyways. So right here, this cadency and assistance of the boost surfing fin, I'm doing right around 8.6 to 8.8 miles per hour. So there's a little bit of assistance. Typically with a just normal fin, I'm cruising right around 7.8 to 8.2 miles per hour. So this is definitely giving me an additional, I would say, like half a mile an hour increased performance paddling at the same stroke cadency. All right, I'm turning it back off again. Kind of catch my breath for a second before I do this max speed test here, baby, and see how this thing does. Before I do that though, let's talk a little bit about just how this fin is kind of been handling on this board in terms of like maneuverability and stability. It comes to stability first. In comparison to the other fin I typically use on this board, this one feels pretty close to the same in terms of stability. I don't feel like I'm losing anything or really gaining anything. So that's really good to know when using this fin. With maneuverability, let's do a little testing here of some turns. Let's do a little pivot turn here. Hopefully I don't fall in the water. Woo! The board definitely sinks down farther with the heavier fin. Nice. Yeah, actually, that fin handles quite nicely with turning around. I don't notice any increased drag when it comes to doing pivot turns anyways. Yeah, I say for I can't talk now. For maneuverability and stability, man, this thing like doesn't really take away from that at all, which honestly I'm really surprised about. So that's really cool to know. It's a bigger fin, but still performs quite well. All right, let's do the speed test now. There's an ever so slight breeze out here, so I'm gonna turn my board kind of into the sideways wind here. Don't really want any help from the wind. I don't really go against the wind either, so I'm kind of go in the side breeze here. See a few deep breaths. Get calmed down, because the moment of truth is about to happen. Woo! Oh, buddy boy, here we go. So I'm gonna do 2 rounds of this. First round I'm gonna do with the assistance of the boost only. So it'll be like a 5-second kind of boost into it. And then after that, I'm gonna do the longer trolling mode and see how that helps. All right, in my stance here. Get this thing started. Woo! Got a little off balance there for a second. I'm gonna do that one more time. Kind of getting a feel for it still. Woo! Oh, that takes the breath out of you. All right, so I'm gonna do the same side of my board here. And now I'm gonna do the longer boost. Worked into it, here we go. All right, oh. That's the best I got, folks. Best I got today. Woo! All right, let's get back to shore and see what my official results are. Whew. All right, the time has finally come for me to review my stats from today's max speed testing with the help of this electric boost surfing fin to see if I finally achieved a new PR or my fastest speed ever recorded before on the water. So with that being said, pulling up the app here right now to look at my speed results from today. And it looks like, unfortunately, I did not get a new PR in terms of my fastest speed ever. From today's session, I was only able to get up to 13.8 kilometers an hour. And my previous best session ever was 14.3 kilometers an hour. So just a shy under my previous best in terms of my fastest speed ever reached on my paddleboard. So there are 2 main reasons of why I believe I did not hit a new PR today in terms of my top speed. The first one has to do with simply the overall size of this electric fin. It's obviously much larger than your traditional paddleboard fin is, so therefore it creates a little bit more drag. When I'm just using my performance race fin, there's obviously very little drag to that fin, so I'm able to hit a higher speed with that and maintain a higher speed because of that little drag in comparison to this electric surf fin that has a much bulkier frame to it, which creates a little bit more drag in the water, which therefore causes me to be a little bit slower as well. The second major factor also holding me back is that this electric surf fin only goes to a certain speed. So once I reached that speed, was then trying to go above that speed, that fin was no longer assisting me with trying to hit that higher speed level. So those are really the two reasons I believe kind of held me back in terms of trying to hit a higher speed on my race board today. But even with that being said, I still had a blast day testing out this electric surf fin by Boost Surfing. I had some good laughter out there, and I just really enjoyed trying something new on the water with my paddleboard that I've never tried before. So honestly, after today's experience, it's definitely a 2 thumbs up. When it comes to who this fin is designed for, there are kind of two main people that I think of who this fin would be a really good fit for. The first one being if you're someone who needs a little bit more assistance with paddling on the water, maybe say you need more help paddling for a longer time in upwind conditions or in choppier conditions on the water, this electric surf fin does a great job of assisting you. It's kind of helping you last longer on the water if you don't have the endurance for it yet, especially in those choppier or windier conditions on the water. The second type of person that comes to my mind that I believe would get a lot of enjoyment out of using this electric fin is someone who just simply enjoys going for like nice, long, slow paddle sessions. If you're someone who just likes going out for just a good time on the water to just simply rejuvenate your soul or just enjoy the nature around you, and you enjoy just sitting down your paddleboard or even laying down or maybe just going at a super slow pace, and you don't want to expend like a lot of energy on the water, I believe you would definitely get a lot of enjoyment out of using this fin because you can simply turn on that trolling mode and go at a nice slow steady pace around your local lake or even along your ocean's shoreline, and simply just go at a nice easy pace, exerting very little effort and simply enjoying time in the water and just kind of getting a time of like meditation as well, just to simply rejuvenate your soul. So with that being said, if either one of those types of people sounds like I'm describing you, I definitely think you'd have a lot of fun using this fin. So to wrap today's video up, I definitely want to give you a huge thank you to Boost Surfing for sponsoring today's video, and I highly recommend you guys go check out their website at boostsurfing.com to learn more about their electric fin, as well as buy one for yourself. That's it for today's video though, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.